So blockchain has gone mainstream, and it's not just disrupting finance. In traditionally underserved regions, blockchain is actually becoming essential infrastructure. Blockchain and crypto is making the global economy accessible to people who otherwise wouldn't be able to participate in it due to systemic barriers like statelessness, displacement, poverty, or limited access to financial services. For example, blockchain is now being used to help people in conflict zones receive and spend humanitarian aid. The UN World Food Program launched Building Blocks, which is a blockchain project based on the Ethereum protocol, which has been scaled to provide $325 million worth of cash transfers to millions of refugees in Bangladesh, Jordan, Lebanon, and Ukraine, making it the world's largest implementation of blockchain technology for humanitarian assistance. In this video, we explore two impactful examples of how crypto is already meeting real-world needs and helping everyone access the digital economy. So GoodDollar is approaching poverty and financial inequality with the universal basic income. So it's governed by a community-run DAO or decentralized autonomous organization, and GoodDollar distributes free digital currency daily to anyone with internet access, and no bank account or prior crypto experience is required. They've been widely featured in the media, gaining the attention of Forbes and World Economic Forum. Cointelegraph named GoodDollar as one of the top organizations accelerating the adoption of real-world crypto and blockchain. Since 2008, GoodDollar founder Yoni Assia has been on a mission to create a global cryptocurrency designed for fair wealth distribution.
Surprisingly, today there are more people with mobile phones and connection to the internet than people with bank accounts. So we definitely see the need. There are more people who can use cryptocurrencies. Today we're looking at 50 million people at best using cryptocurrencies, which is still a very small minority of the world. How do you bring this technology to the next billion people? And generally, giving away free money is a very good way to bring in more people.
He argues against a universal basic income. Most people lose some part of their identity or dignity, and they become miserable because they feel useless to the society because they don't contribute.
We're looking at not necessarily at the research of universal basic income, but we call it open universal basic income. And the main difference is it's a voluntary system, it's detached from government, and it's based on technology, which means you can either participate or not participate in the program, in the technology.
So I spoke with Hadar Rottenberg, the tech lead at GoodDollar, to unpack how DeFi and UBI principles are converging to create new models of financial inclusion.
The reason that I started working in the blockchain space was the need and want to revolutionize and reinvent ourselves as a society. It can give us the tools to build money the way that we want it to work. What happened with GoodDollar is that we are able to bring crypto to more and more users and people from, especially from emerging markets. GoodDollar is their first dApp that they use, but then they go ahead and try and experiment with other projects, other blockchains, not necessarily blockchains that we are on. We were able to onboard almost 1 million people to Web3, and we've distributed over, I think, $400,000 worth of UBI to people all over the world. But especially in emerging markets, that's where people are they're hustling and trying to make it better for their family.
So anyone can claim GoodDollar tokens daily through the GoodDollar wallet app. And then after registration, they can start claiming those GoodDollar tokens daily. I was able to sign up within a minute. And to prevent abuse, like people creating multiple accounts to claim UBI, GoodDollar uses privacy-preserving facial recognition.
Because we are giving out free money, so we have to verify that every person registers only once. We do it using face verification, but we don't keep any connection between wallet address and your identity. It just checks that people are unique in a set of anonymized faces.
GoodDollar is backed by a reserve of stablecoins, which guarantees liquidity and keeps price volatility low. That makes it easier for people to actually use GoodDollar for real transactions, not just hold it.
The more people buy GoodDollar, that increases the amount of UBI that we can distribute to people. I think it's already the sixth year that since GoodDollar has been launched. So every GoodDollar is always exchangeable to what's in the reserve. Most crypto projects, they just mint billion tokens, and maybe there's liquidity for some of it, right? That's why a lot of projects, suddenly you have whales dumping all their tokens, and that's it, the project is gone because there's no more liquidity. So with GoodDollar, that could never happen because we have this reserve mechanism. When people sell GoodDollars to the reserve, then the reserve burns the GoodDollar that has been sold back, and it gives them back stable tokens from the reserve. A lot of people that gave them hope, and they started encouraging their community, building stuff around their community, trading between themselves, more peer-to-peer trading, exchanging books and local and secondhand things.
So as we talked, our next speaker came up organically as someone who's made a significant impact in the crypto space. Hadar saw him as someone on the cutting edge of using blockchain to drive inclusive finance and grassroots economic transformation. Will Ruddick is a development economist and founder of Grassroots Economics, an organization that's helped over 100 local communities create trustworthy local economies, in part by pioneering blockchain-based community currencies across Kenya and beyond. In 2019, Grassroots Economics won Newsweek's Blockchain Impact Award, and I found Newsweek's write-up about Will's Grassroots Economics work really interesting. Quote, "The Kenya-based nonprofit began helping small communities create their own currencies to address what happens when economic instability in a national currency creates chaos in local markets. By bringing together small businesses to build a web of trust, such community currencies are able to foster microloans, which ignite trade and end up benefiting all. The national currency is still vital for larger investments and savings, but the day-to-day use of money is separated from crises caused by distant political decisions." Will Ruddick began exploring how blockchain technology might improve their systems. Now, each community currency is exchangeable with those of other grassroots communities via an open-source blockchain protocol. Transactions in grassroots currencies bear no resemblance to the speculative nature of cryptocurrency trading. Around 40% of the activity comes from people buying food, giving their families 3 meals a day, often for the first time. And because there are no fees and transaction costs, purchases can be as small as a single tomato. Schools accept community currencies as fees, in turn allowing them to enroll more children and pay teachers, and health clinics accept these currencies for all types of care. The Sarafu network is a blockchain-based community currency system developed by the Grassroots Economic Foundation. It enables local communities to create their own currencies, to exchange promises of value, like real-world services, goods, labor, or credit, without needing traditional money or banks. Well, I recently spoke with Will, so he could share his insights about how blockchain makes it easier for people to trade with each other in a fair and transparent way.
So first off, this is a dApp. People can use it through like QR codes as well. So you can like log in with a little QR code. So you don't really need a crypto wallet, but you can use MetaMask and a bunch of other stuff too. Let me just say, so you can use like these little paper wallets, and we have like, you can print that out, and that really is just a little private key right there. So people without any device at all can go to someone with a smartphone and log into their crypto account, and it will take them right to their wallet. But first off, people can make vouchers here. They can also use this on USSD and SMS. So like phones that don't have internet, we have like all kinds of connectors. But the vouchers are essentially commitments for services. And people around the world are doing these. Most of it's in Kenya. Let me try to find Kenya here.
Wow.
I'm here on the coast of Kenya, so we've got a lot here. I'm like basically in that cluster there. And those are things here. Let me open a pool as an example. But those are basically, think of them as tokenized real world assets or commitments for resources. And so like this is a pool that contains many of them. A pool is basically a curation of many commitments. And so the book is kind of talking about this protocol that where you kind of specify as a steward, like what goes into a pool, what's its relative value, what's the limitations on it as well, right? And in a way, you can think of this as just like a lending system, right? So the pool is like it's holding a bunch of assets, like an escrow account, and then if you've got a credit line in the pool, which means like let's say your Amber token is allowed into the pool, you can put in up to some amount, and then you could pull out any other token in here, kind of like a liquidity pool, like on Uniswap, right?
Mm.
So that's basically it. It's like you're borrowing from the pool and you're putting in your commitments for various services as like your collateral. And you can't take out more than the credit limit you've been given. Okay. So the simple version with mamas in a village is like, one woman says, I want everyone to help me. She's going to put into the pool her commitments to help everyone else. And she's going to pull out their commitments, which means they're in sort of credit now and she's in debt to them, right? And she's going to spend those on them just like you would spend a gift card, right? So you have a wallet in here, right? Just a normal blockchain wallet. You can send vouchers to different people, right? That would be like spending a gift card. And if you look, I wanted to show you like a particular voucher here, just as an example. Like this is one in the village where I live here. And basically, this is a promise for shillings worth of products, right?
Mm.
So one is worth 10 shillings of product. If I wanted to spend $10 worth, I would, or, 1,000 shillings worth, I would need 100 of these. And these are the different products on offer with this cooperative here, right? And we have like businesses doing these. We have like universities using these as like tuition credit. Like this is one of the universities we work with here. Their pool right now only holds two things in it, right? Well, this is two different stable coins, and their own voucher. So this is like, think of it almost like a vending machine, right? So you can go and buy credit there. You can also buy these vouchers and give them out to people. You can use Visa cards in here as well. Um,
Mm.
I just like to look at this. This is just one university using a commitment for tuition. That's the university here. It's gone out. Each one of these is a blockchain address of a student, and then the bigger ones are local vendors. And so they
Wow.
all accept the university credit as kind of a local currency, and they can use it for paying tuition and stuff around the university. And then you can connect that out to other tokens as well. So that's where we came from was very much the world of community currency. And now we're kind of in the world of just kind of general resource coordination. So currencies end up just as forms of commitment that can all connect to each other. And it's starting to grow a lot. And it's a really kind of stupidly simple thing, right? It's just a very simple little value exchange system, right? It's like, and you can do reports, like you can create little attestations and reports of what's going on. So this is like everything that, these are all the vouchers in this pool. So it's aggregating all the reports from those. Um, so yeah, I mean this, it's not a very sexy interface. We're working on UX stuff like that, but like eventually the goal is that like this system, if you look at all the vouchers across the whole network, that eventually what you just see as your UX would be like your credit across the network, right? So if like Ambers are allowed into various pools here, like this would be like that university here, like that cluster there. And then it's connected to a pool that connects it to all of these other vouchers.
Wow.
This is you're just looking at what would be kind of like a giant Uniswap like network of real world assets, right?
Mm.
And that's a perfectly viable economic system. You can have stable coins in there as well, right? And so we're just sort of decentralizing, like the stable coins kind of become vouchers of state services at that point. It's like, okay, great.
Wow.
Those could be like network tokens and stuff like that. And we're sort of just kind of stepping back. We don't want to try to understand everything as monetary or everything as money or everything as currency. It's like there must be another realm outside of that. And so it's made life really easy. And that's lots of groups in the US and all over the place are starting to use it. And we're hoping our like adoption wise, like our real hope is that people copy this and make their own websites. So Sarafu.network, that was the website I was showing you. That's like would be called a decentralized app. It's an application that's living actually on the Celo blockchain. We're also one of the largest validators on the Celo blockchain. So we're part of the Celo blockchain itself, right? Like we
Mm.
are one of the validators of it. So that that means that we can pay for people's gas costs, these gas fees and stuff like that. So no one has to deal with gas. And we switched blockchain like 4 times because they kept jumping up on the gas fees until we found one that we could be part of. Blockchains need to be able to guarantee that you can do something on it. It's like we're working with like thousands of groups in refugee camps. If our block gas prices shoots up 10x, that would be horrible, right? And so we need to be able to guarantee that. And the only way we could do that is actually being part of that blockchain. And luckily, we were able to get enough stake to do that.
Every pool in the Sarafu network is backed by the value of the commitments in the pool. And the pool is the collection of commitments that are exchanged according to agreed upon rules. In this system, blockchain is specifically used to keep track of people's commitments to one another, and the economic relationships are still person to person, local, and direct.
To me, Grassroots is about people coming together and supporting each other, and the traditions that we've been witnessing and learning from in indigenous societies. It's all about how we come together and become people, right? Like even the word Ubuntu, if you've heard of it, Ubuntu actually means to become a person or being a personhood. Like Utu in Swahili is a similar word, or Kua Mtu. And basically like that we form in relationship to each other, that's what makes us people. And if we don't actually have relationship to each other in a healthy way, we're actually not people anymore. We're just humans. We're like the species, but we're not of the people. And so a lot of these traditions that we focus on is like the relational system that makes us a body together, right? A single unit as a society, as a culture, as a home, as a family.
Will was careful to point out that blockchain isn't strictly necessary for this way of structuring commitment exchanges. Technically, it can be done with paper and pen, but blockchain is much more scalable and trustworthy.
Because it provides a layer that provides memory, right? So you can remember reputation, you can remember all kinds of stuff, and you can remember also across different groups, the connections between them. So you can have a relational database in that sense. You have authentication, so you can know who people are, right? That's cryptography, right? And then you have an execution layer, which means that if you publish your agreements, like your contracts onto a blockchain, you can provably execute those contracts. When we're talking to communities, we never, we don't really mention blockchain or any of this. We just say it's a database that's being stored on many different servers, so it doesn't go away. Like even if our organization is gone, you're safe in that sense. But in Kenya, grandmas use it because we have very simple little text-based UXs that they're used to here. When you're creating a voucher or a commitment and you're expressing that I'm willing to offer this, well, we're considering that as kind of like a sacred promise, and like to have that be pooled and put in relationship to other commitments, value curation becomes one of the most important things we can do.
So in a time of economic uncertainty and global challenges, I recently heard a powerful quote that the currency of the future will be relationships of trust. So this isn't just tech designed purely for profit. It's tech for shared economic power. Projects like GoodDollar and Grassroots Economics are showing what this looks like in practice. I'm Amber Yang for Minnesota Blockchain Initiative, and thank you so much for tuning into this video on blockchain for social good, decentralized economic inclusion, and financial empowerment.